If you're trying to quit a habit that you personally consider to be an addiction you're struggling with, gambling, alcohol, porn, weed, video games, anything, there's a common relapse trigger almost nobody talks about. Most of us already know the more obvious relapse triggers: boredom, loneliness, and those emotionally overloaded days caused by stress from family, work, or school. But there's another trigger we rarely think about: the news. And I know that might sound dramatic. You might be thinking, bro, are you really saying that scrolling world news and politics on X or TikTok or bouncing between news sites and news subreddits is part of why I keep relapsing? Yes, I am. Maybe you've already heard about the dangers of doom scrolling, but few talk about how dangerous that behavior can be for those who are already struggling with separate addictions. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why and what to do instead so you don't feel like you're cutting off your only connection to the world. And one thing before we begin: if you end up enjoying this video, this is a new channel, so I appreciate any likes, subscriptions, shares, and comments. When you scroll through negative news, war, political outrage, economic panic, your brain doesn't treat it as information, it treats it as danger. Your cortisol spikes, your nervous system goes into alert mode, you feel tense, anxious, unsettled. And your brain, being the loyal little addict it is, goes, I know exactly how to make this feeling stop. That shortcut might be drinking, or smoking, or gambling, or binge eating, or porn, or gaming. The specific behavior or substance you are trying to quit doesn't matter. The mechanism is identical. You start doom scrolling, your cortisol spikes, you feel emotional discomfort, and your brain reaches for the old coping behavior. Sometimes the urge to relapse isn't immediate either. This is why you can doom scroll at noon and then suddenly feel an urge to relapse at 8 p.m. or the next day and think, where did that come from? It came from the cortisol that doom scrolling negative news consumption gave you. During COVID, researchers found something wild. The more negative news people consumed on one day, the more hopeless and anxious they felt the next day. About everything, not just the news. Negative news also makes you trust people less and expect the worst from others. This is called mean world syndrome, a cognitive bias where heavy exposure to violent media, specifically news and television, leads people to perceive the world as more dangerous, hostile, and untrustworthy than it actually is. The term was coined by George Gerbner in the 1970s. Mean world syndrome fosters fear, anxiety, pessimism, and a heightened, often irrational fear of victimization. And here's why this matters for addiction. When you believe the world is dangerous, chaotic, and hopeless, you're far more likely to reach for your old coping behavior. Because why try to improve your life if everything feels doomed anyway? I've personally felt this trap countless times. You feel like, why not just use some porn or drink some alcohol if everything is doomed anyway? It's easy to feel that way after an hour or two consuming doomer content. Doom scrolling doesn't just stress you out, it quietly convinces you that change is pointless. Doom scrolling isn't just stressful, it's compulsive. It runs on the same reward loop as most addictions: scroll, hit of outrage or shock, dopamine spike, crash, scroll again. Sound familiar? It's the same loop behind just one more drink, just one more bet, just one more level, just one more porn video. So when you doom scroll, you're not just stressing yourself out, you're warming up the compulsive circuitry in your brain. You're literally rehearsing the same mental pattern your addiction used to run on. Here's something most people don't know: your attention is a finite resource, and doom scrolling destroys it in three ways. One, your phone drains your focus even when you're not using it. Studies show that the mere presence of your phone, even face down, reduces your cognitive performance. It's like having a toddler in the room. Even if they're quiet, you're never fully relaxed. Two, doom scrolling creates attention residue. Every time you switch tasks, work, phone, your brain leaves a little residue behind. And doom scrolling is never a completed task. There's always more. So your brain is constantly carrying unfinished emotional baggage. Three, your attention muscle atrophies. If meditation strengthens focus, doom scrolling is the mental equivalent of living on cheap pizza and candy. They'll keep you alive but won't nourish you. Eventually, you develop popcorn brain. Your attention is so fractured that real world activities feel unbearably slow. This is why people say things like, I can't focus on books anymore. Conversations feel boring. I can't sit still without checking my phone. This isn't your personality, it's conditioning. Here's the part that terrifies me the most. Doom scrolling traps you in your brain's default mode network, the system responsible for rumination, overthinking, and mental stimulation simulations. This is the mode where you think about what you should do, imagine doing it, worry about doing it, but never actually do it. The opposite system, the task positive network, is what you use for planning, decision making, and taking action. Doom scrolling keeps the rumination network on and the action network off. So you end up knowing exactly what you need to do to improve in your life, but feel unable to actually do it. Sound familiar? Doom scrolling also dulls your interoception, your ability to feel what's happening inside your body. Your hunger cues, stress cues, fatigue cues, they all get drowned out by the noise of your phone. Millions of people likely wake up and immediately look at Reddit, Twitter, or Instagram and get bombarded with negative news even before they've had their first sip of water or breakfast in a given day. This makes emotional regulation harder because you can't tell why you feel off. And when you can't identify the source of discomfort, your default is the fastest relief you know, your addiction. When you're early in recovery, your brain is still rewiring, your stress tolerance is lower, your emotional regulation is shakier, your old habits are still close to the surface. This is the period where you need stability, not constant microdoses of fear, anger, and uncertainty. All right, let's talk some solutions. Because telling someone just stop reading the news is like telling a toddler just stop crying. It's not happening. Here's what actually works. One, replace the habit, don't remove it. Your brain hates empty space. In those early days recovering from your vice or vices, when the temptation to consume negative news arises, you must choose other things instead. Fill the gap with comedy clips, nature videos, music playlists, audiobooks that are not about world problems. Two, add friction. Log out of apps like X, Reddit, or even use extensions and blockers to remove your access to them. Remove them from your bookmarks in your browser. Turn off notifications except for very rare exceptions. I haven't had those on in years myself. Use grayscale on your phone and computer. I've heard from many people this helps with social media addiction, phone gaming addiction, and porn addiction in general. 3. Ask, is this actionable? Is there anything I can do about this, or that I'm going to do about this, or does it just serve to stress me out? If not, it's probably not worth consuming. If you are not a reporter or someone whose job is directly related to the events you are consuming, do you really need to know about it? It's one thing if you intend to take some actual action, but if you're constantly reading updates about a particular global situation you don't intend to do anything to change, why do you need to know about it? 4. Replace digital dopamine with real dopamine, movement, sunlight, conversation, creativity. Be outside and spend time with real people. In general, internet socialization can never be a full replacement for face to face connection and conversation, a topic I went over in my video, The Importance of Balancing Online and Offline Communities. 5. Create a news window. If you feel particularly challenged, morally or otherwise, about the concept of completely shutting yourself out from negative world events, even temporarily, then you should strictly limit how much time you allow yourself to consume in a day. You could set a timer of 5, 10 minutes max a day to check the news, being very strict about this, although I posit it will surely be easier to quit your particular vice if you disconnect entirely from negative news consumption and doom scrolling, at the very least until you have substantial time away from the activity or substance you're quitting. If you're trying to quit something, you're already fighting an uphill battle. Don't make it harder by feeding your brain a constant drip of fear and outrage. You don't necessarily need to avoid the news forever, but while your brain is healing, protect it from the constant stream of chaotic events outside your control. Your recovery will be smoother, your urges will be lesser, and it will be much less difficult to put away that addictive activity or substance for good. Thanks for watching, and if you made it this far, feel free to like, subscribe, share, and comment.